Hey, it's Huck. And no, I didn't forget about you, even though I know it's been a while since I've posted anything on this channel. I did post a couple of videos recently on my other channel. You know the one. The one where I, well, generally rant about all the outrageous things, you know, some of our conservative friends on the right keep doing. But in this case, I think the videos more had to do with, you know, some other things in the news. As much as possible, I've always tried to use this channel, you know, for purposes of, well, you know, entertaining you. For whatever reason, it just used to be a lot easier for me to come up with all those funny little video ideas, you know, week after week, than it seems that it's been lately. Now, I don't know if that's because, you know, well, I've been living on the edge of ruin for the last 6 months, or whether that has nothing to do with it. All I know is I finally got so desperate for a, you know, a funny video that I kind of set Clone to task on the whole project. So I'm hoping that, you know, maybe Clone can come up with an idea so I can post another kind of entertaining, funny little video for us all. And, well, Clone is sort of freaking out over it. I mean, you'd think I had assigned him, you know, to write a book report on War and Peace overnight or something. But I don't know. I think he's up to the task. So normally, now when I haven't posted anything funny in a week or two, I usually fall back on, you know, posting maybe a song. But I haven't had a guitar for, well, months. And while I do have kind of a few songs recorded that I've never really uploaded, they're not recorded on video. I just have the music. And I figured you don't want another like slideshow with music, so I'm going to just hold off until maybe I can, you know, get a cheap guitar somewhere at some point in time. I haven't been able to afford even that. I keep looking on Craigslist to see if maybe, you know, I can get a real bargain, but hell, even used guitars are really expensive, and so I'm just going to have to wait. I even thought of maybe borrowing one just so I could post a video. But the fact is, I don't really have any friends around here that own a guitar. Imagine that. So, I mean, I used to, you know, play with some guys and stuff, but they moved long time ago. They moved away. So, well, at any rate, I'll keep working on that, I promise. And then again, there was always one other kind of video that I would sometimes fall back on, and that was the kind of informative video, you know, where I would maybe just take you or share with you some of the interesting or unique places that I've enjoyed, you know, romping around here in where I live here in Northeast Ohio, right on the, basically I live right on the Ohio-PA border. I mean, if my health was a little better, I could walk to Pennsylvania. It'd take me about 10 minutes. But, well, more on that in a moment. Fact is, I'd like to take you somewhere today, maybe show you something interesting. But that kind of brings me around to why I have the time today to even make this video. See, the truth is, I didn't go to work today because it's like, I guess the only way I can explain it is I can't go outside. This is the second day now in a row that I tried to go to work, but, well, the cold weather just wouldn't allow it. See, it's been like 10 or 15 degrees below zero outside, at least with the wind chill. And the wind has been plenty whipping around out there, let me tell you. Now that's Fahrenheit. I mean, I guess that's equivalent to like, I don't know, 23, maybe 26 degrees Celsius, for those of you wondering why the fuck we still use Fahrenheit. Anyway, yesterday, I attempted to go to work. And so I walked outside in the morning in the minus 10-degree air, and I grabbed a broom that sits outside here, and I was going to attempt to brush the snow, you know, off the windshield of my car, as I don't own a garage. And I got about 1 or 2 brush strokes in before I, well, frankly, I couldn't breathe. You see, even on a good day, I can walk slow without too much trouble. But with my lungs being in the shape that they are, the cold weather just kind of hits me like a ton of bricks. Now, I know my doctor told me that you know, this is why people that have this severe COPD that I guess I have, you know, can't live like at high elevations. Well, he says cold air is just as bad, if not worse, than high elevations. And well, I found that out yesterday. I went outside, like I said, and any activity at all. I mean, you know, I could sit out on the porch for probably an extended period of time. And as long as I'm not moving, yeah, I can breathe just fine. But ask me to get up and walk, I'll tell you, I can walk about 25 to 50 feet before I'm gasping for air. And then I gotta sit down, which makes it very hard for me to get to work on a really cold day, because I have to walk almost 4 blocks from the parking garage where I have to park my car and the building that I have to enter in order to do my job. And so on a pretty cold day, like it's been, you know, most of this winter around here, you know, like 30, 20 degrees, I can walk maybe 25 or 50 feet before I start gasping for air. Any movement just burns up your oxygen and requires more. So when it gets colder than that, for some reason, I just tire out way faster. So again, you know, like I could sit out on the porch for probably an extended period of time, and as long as I'm not moving, I'd probably be okay. But just walking out to my car, just that little bit of movement in this cold air pretty much tuckers me out. And if I do anything beyond that, well, suddenly I'm in full-blown, you know, can't breathe mode. And that's kind of what happened to me yesterday. Now, I did manage to make it inside the house. I got oxygen right here that I can turn on, and, you know, within a minute or two, I'm fine. So I called off work and said, you know, not today. And I called my doctor, who said, just stay at home. So today, knowing that I can't possibly afford to miss 2 days off, not to mention, you know, I'm on the brink of getting fired out there anytime they really want to do it, all because I'm missing work. Well, so today I said I got to go to work. I got to go to work. I got to think this out. I got to plan this out. So the problem is that I have a back tire I've been noticing really for a week now has been really low on air. I mean, really low on air. And each day it gets lower. So I looked at it this morning as I was walking out to my car, and I said, I can't drive my car. I'll be lucky to get to a gas station. That car looked almost flat, that tire. So I said, okay. I got outside, I turned my car on, and I came back in the house. I figured I'm just going to let the car warm up for a good half hour. You know, so it'll be nice and toasty for me, and it'll melt the snow on the windshield. And it did. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be able to do this. The problem was I had to get to that gas station and somehow put air in that tire. And so I did. I drove down to the nearest gas station right here in town. They got a little air machine. And I, you know, now with my gloves, I'm trying to put 4 quarters in the damn air machine. You know, that's another rant. I mean, for Christ's sake, they charge you $1 for like 3 minutes of air. You know, and if you're going to fill up more than 1 tire, that's not even enough time to put air in 4 tires. You know what I'm saying? It's not. It always runs out. So what do you got to do? You got to get out another $1. Now you would think these oil companies, you know, like the Shell gas station I went to. Now you would think any company that's making billions of dollars every quarter could probably afford. I can remember when you didn't pay anything. You go to any gas station, they give you air. Air was free. Now they're making billions and billions on billions of dollars, and they're going to charge you $1 for air? Seriously? Yeah, well, anyway, of course, I dropped 1 of the quarters in the snow, so I'm fumbling around for that, and I finally found it. I put it in there. By the time I get the cord and I get to the back tire, I knew I was kind of in trouble at this point. You know, see, it's like minus 15 outside. I've been outside for like 2 minutes already, and I'm, you know, gasping for air. So I'm, you know, desperately trying to put that thing on there. You gotta unscrew that little, you know, the little cap off the valve, and I put that thing in there, and so it's registering like 9 pounds of air. I had 9 pounds of air in my tire, so I'm getting in there. I got it up to 18, Now remember, the goal is like 32 pounds of air, right? I think that's right. Anyway, I got it up to 18 and I was like in full, full blown I can't breathe mode. Now, fortunately, normally, a few times in the past when I've had this, it's when you panic. There's nothing worse than you can't breathe in and you can't breathe out. And but I've had some experience with this now, quite a bit of experience. So I don't panic quite as easily now. I always carry an oxygen tank with me in the car, and so I figured, okay, I'm going to drop everything right now. I'm going to go calmly open up the back, the rear door, and reach in and turn that oxygen on and suck up some oxygen. Now, unfortunately, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Here's the oxygen machine here. Unfortunately, I was looking for this thing. Now, see, you need this thing to turn this damn thing on. I don't know why they make them this way. I guess they want you to die, because you think they put a little knob on here that you can just turn, but no, you got to find this thing, and then you got to find the right. There's like 4 holes in here, and you got to find the right one so that you can turn that on. Now you got oxygen. Well, wouldn't you know, when you're not breathing and it's like frickin' 15 degrees below zero and the wind's like whipping in on you and you haven't breathed for like, it's like a minute. It's like 2 minutes now I haven't breathed. And I'm fumbling around. First I couldn't find it. Then I remember where it was and I opened up the compartment and I grabbed that thing and of course I drop it. And it's underneath the oxygen tank, and I'm trying to scramble under there. And this is before I could even find this thing that you're supposed to wrap around your face and stick up your nose, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, about a minute of this, and I'm like, okay, well then, I think it was at this point that panic finally started setting in, I mean, I remember dropping to my knees thinking, that's it, that's all I got, Anyway, fortunately, someone, I don't know who this guy was, probably lives in Hubbard here, must have seen all this frantic activity going on through the side door of my car. All I know is I no sooner dropped down to my knees that I feel this giant arm grab me, and then I see this other arm grab this, and he kind of helped me. I don't know, I guess it was only like 15 or 20 feet from the actual entrance of the gas station. I mean, it's a small little building, and the air machine is like right around the corner there in the front. So I didn't have far to go from where I was parked. This gentleman was nice enough to see what I was trying to do. I couldn't talk to him. I was completely, breathless. But within 30 seconds, he had me in the building. He had my oxygen turned on, and by that time I was, I don't know. Within another, like I say, a couple of minutes, I was fine. That was my morning. Needless to say, I was able to get back into my car, and I just came home. I said, well, I don't think I'm going to be walking the 3 blocks today. And I did call off work. I got a return call from my boss. Now, Wesley's been really nice. He's like my boss now. And Wesley got promoted. He basically did what I do. But my boss got promoted, and so he got promoted and is now my boss. And Wesley's been pretty good, because I have missed, well, more than probably the, I don't know, permissible number of days you're allowed to miss, I guess, according to the rules. And, I'm still working. But I don't know, he called me back today and said I had to contact HR, and that's never a good thing, and so I have to do that tomorrow, because the truth is, it's supposed to be just as cold tomorrow as it was today. It's not supposed to really warm up until Friday, and as fate would have it, that's supposed to be my day off. I work Sunday through Thursday, and today's Wednesday, so I'm probably not very likely going to be able to work tomorrow. I keep trying. Trying Truth is, I still only got, I think, 18 pounds of air in my tire. But I would probably try to get to work on that. You know, I'm done with the tire thing until it warms up. I don't know if I'm going to get to work tomorrow. I did manage to go to the doctor. My doctor wanted to see me today. And I said, look, I'm a little scared to just go outside. Now, it's not the same. You know, going to work, I have to walk a good long distance to get to the building that I work in. You know what I mean? I work like downtown Youngstown. And there's no place to legally park near where I work. They give us employees a parking deck. I have to park either on the second floor or the fourth floor of this parking deck, where I'm illegally allowed to park for free. But the trouble is, sometimes the elevator doesn't work. You have to use the stairs. That's a killer. Usually it's working though, and at least one of them, if you can get to one or the other, one's usually working. But even when you take the elevator, like I say, you've got almost 4 blocks to walk. And you know what it's like downtown. If you've ever walked in a downtown area like that with the tall buildings, everything, the wind just whips around. It's like twice as cold downtown as it is like here, you know. I don't know. But at any rate, I'll worry about all that tomorrow. Now, all this leads me to the real purpose of my video today, which is to say, I'm sorry, I don't have anything really funny to talk about. You know, I mean, you know I'm desperate when I assigned Clone to come up with my comedy material. You see, it occurred to me today that maybe if I lived in a warmer climate, I wouldn't be missing all the work that I'm missing here, at least during the winter. Now, I had some problems. I was hospitalized in June. I had other issues again in September. It's been a tough road to hoe for me with this breathing thing. And the cold weather is just, you know, I thought I was getting better, but it seems like the cold weather is just wreaking havoc on me all again. I'm okay when I'm indoors, but the cold air is just wreaking havoc on my ass. So, why am I still here in Ohio, you ask? I mean, you know, other than the fact that I've lived here my whole life, and that, you know, I was born and raised, you know, basically here in this house. Why would I still want to remain in Ohio? You see, and to answer that, I guess the only thing I can say is that there are a few things about Ohio that do make a compelling case for me staying here. And they're among my list of things about Ohio, and the Youngstown-Warren area in particular, that, you know, frankly, you just might not know. So I prepared a very small list of these things. I mean, the list could be much, much, much bigger, but they wouldn't mean anything to you because they're places to eat and things to do that, you know, probably more sentimental to me. But I thought I would make a small list of a few of the reasons that might impress upon you why I am so, you know, compelled to stay here despite the lack of garage and warmer weather. The greater Youngstown metro area, which I guess you'd have to include me because my little town is like right on the border of Youngstown, is listed by Forbes magazine as the 4th most livable city in the United States. Now I know they take into a lot of things into account. There's 2 things in particular that the Youngstown metro area ranks really, really high in that pretty much, you know, negates everything else and all other factors. And that is that there's just no more affordable place to live. I mean, housing in this area, if you took my house and you put it almost anywhere else in the country, it's probably going to be worth 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times what it costs here. And it's not because I live in a crime-ridden neighborhood. I live in a little tiny suburb, like a bedroom community, I guess you would call it. You know, and there's no crime here to speak of, not really. Youngstown itself, a little different situation, especially in certain areas. But where I live, the schools are among the top schools in Ohio. It's just not my little town. But there's several towns right around Youngstown that have that. Now, Youngstown schools themselves are atrocious. Don't get me wrong. They have some great Catholic schools. I mean, like 100% graduation rates, 99.9% college material. I mean, seriously, unbelievable. But the public schools of Youngstown, among the worst in the state. But you don't have to drive 5 miles out of Youngstown to find communities like mine, where the schools are among the best in the state, you know, among public schools. I mean, the very best in the state. We've been ranked like, I don't know, like top notch, excellent, I don't know how many years in a row now, going all the way back to when I was in school. So, you know, the neighborhood, you know, there's no crime, it's safe, it's quiet, the schools are excellent, and yet, like I say, housing is really affordable. I mean, the most expensive homes on my street, for instance, are probably $70,000, $80,000. Mine's not quite that good because I don't have a garage, and frankly, it needs a lot of work. I'd be lucky to get, I don't know, half that. Who knows? All I know is, you know, it's affordable to live here. To buy a house, it is affordable. And to live in this kind of a community at that price, that's pretty hard to do. I mean, there's only a few places in the country you can live, you know, that cheap. And the cost of living here can't be beat. I mean, got to be among the lowest places to live, you know, for the services and for the, you know, the things that you have to buy, whether it's groceries or whatever. The cost of living here is really affordable. Now, the wages aren't high. You know, that's the downside, but then that's part of why everything else is so cheap, I guess. You know, so you got to kind of weigh that. One of the really phenomenal things that the Youngstown area has is a lot of like parks and recreation type of things. Youngstown has the second largest metropolitan park. I mean, a park which is actually inside the city limits. This thing is like 4,400 acres in all. It dwarfs Central Park, for instance. I mean, this park is like 18 miles long and, I don't know, several miles wide, and it's all within the city of Youngstown. It stretches from one end of the town, you know, almost to the other end. It has 3 rather good-sized lakes. It has 2 of the top nationally ranked public golf courses in the park. Mill Creek Park's South Course is considered one of the top public golf courses in the country. And the North Course is maybe just behind it. It has all kinds of recreational activities there. I mean, there are more pavilions than you can count. They've got a wonderful nature museum in there. They give nature tours all over the place. There's abundant wildlife. There's more than 22 miles of trails and even more miles of that, you know, that you can drive through. It's all curvy and lots of hills and trees everywhere, and it's just beautiful. Lots of little recreation areas and picnic areas, wide open spaces where you can throw the frisbee, little creeks and riverbeds and stuff that you can, it's just beautiful. It's just a beautiful park. That's all I can tell you. And they even have a wonderful outdoor performing arts center that is remarkable. And every summer they give free concerts, which is kind of fun. And speaking of performing arts, the Youngstown, Warren, Trumbull, Mahoning area here in Ohio takes a backseat to nobody in the form of like community theater and even professional arts. We are home to more community theaters, I think, probably per square mile than anywhere in the country. And I would seriously take anyone up on that challenge. I had the honor of working for one of them, the Youngstown Playhouse. Some years ago, I worked as their youth theater director. And it was an honor to do that. The Youngstown Playhouse is the oldest continuing operating community theater in America. Among some of the people who have graced its stage are Ed O'Neill, who you probably know from Modern Family. Also Maureen McGovern, the singer, and several others. But aside from the Youngstown Playhouse, there's the Oakland Center for the Arts, there's Easy Street Productions, there's the Dior Performing Arts Center, there's more community theaters than I could even name, TNT Theater, Kent Trumbull Summerstock. Plus, of course, there's YSU, and their, which is a pretty big campus, and they, you know, located right downtown Youngstown as well. they have a thriving, theater program. There is Kent State Trumbull campus in Warren. And so there's just a lot of theaters. I can't even name them all. There's so many. You know, the Salem Community Theater, Victorian Theater, just a bunch of them. And I love the arts. I've just always loved it. And I don't have time to get involved in it anymore. But I try to patronize it when I can. And if I was a little healthier and had more time, that's probably where I'd be spending a lot of my time. Now, I'll be honest with you. I think since I was a child, since I knew I wanted to be a writer, I've always kind of pictured myself in retirement. Sitting in a little cottage, we're actually like on the back porch of a little cottage, overlooking some wide expanse of water. And as I've gotten older, and, you know, admittedly closer to that period of time in my life, you know, that dream has kind of taken a back seat to reality, where, you know, that wide expanse of water no longer is like the ocean. You know, maybe it's just a lake. And, you know, now it's no longer just a lake. Maybe it's the neighbor's, you know, swimming pool. And maybe it's not a cottage in the woods. Maybe it's just my house. I figure if I'm really lucky, and if I don't get fired because I keep missing so many days because of my breathing, if I'm really lucky, you know, I could take my early retirement at age 62. I'd hate to do it because I'm going to get screwed on my Social Security. And now with these Republicans in office, who knows if there'll even be Social Security. But be that as it may, if I take my Social Security at age 62, I'm supposed to get a small, little, tiny pension. It's not much. It's like $159 a month or something for my 10 years of work at GM. And, you know, the way I figured, if I get my pension and I get my Social Security and I have enough to just pay the bills, as long as I got food on the table and I'm paying the bills and I have a chance to sit down in front of my computer and do some writing, I'll probably be happy. I'll probably be happy. And, you know, if I have to put up with a little cold weather once in a while, I'll probably manage. I don't know how I can live on that amount of money anywhere else. I really don't, you know, and be happy. I mean, I won't have a house of my own. I'd have to be living in some kind of, well, I don't even want to think. I don't even want to think of where I'd have to live, you know, if it wasn't here. So, you know, I'm holding on to that dream. And like I said, the only thing I'm missing is, well, my neighbor's got a damn fence around their pool, so I can't even see the pool, you know. But, I mean, that could change. You never know, you know. Maybe my other neighbor will build a pool and I can look out that way. I just want water. That's all. It's not too much to ask, is it? Anyway, I'm Huck. Hopefully, Clone will come up with something, and I'll be posting another video on this channel in another week or so. You know, won't make you wait another, like, whatever it's been. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time.